They're ships made of sushi. They're Suships. What's going on, guys? It's Cimo, and I never thought I'd be making a video like this, but today we're going to be discussing the brand new Suship archetype that's set to be released in the next core set after Lightning Overdrive, that is Dawn of Majesty. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have battleships made out of sushi. You know, can I just say, this is like one of the most Yu-Gi-Oh things I've ever seen, and I feel like only Yu-Gi-Oh as a card game could pull something like this off. And I honestly wish they would do more wacky shit like this, because I feel like this is what makes Yu-Gi-Oh so unique. You know, other card games have their thing, but Yu-Gi-Oh has the thing that other card games don't, like sushi ships. But in any case, I'm getting way too excited for this. This is just awesome, and honestly, I hope this actually is like a relatively competitive deck, because I think it would be so funny to see a lot of people actually wanting to play the sushi ship archetype. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. And here we have our first Suship, Rice Suship. So it's a fire aqua, which is just such a bizarre combination of types and attributes. Normal monster, level 4, 2000 attack and 0 defense. This might be some of the biggest flavor text, get it, of all time on a Yu-Gi-Oh card. So of course we're going to go ahead and read it. It says, in a certain Suship port in which I've been interested for a while, there is a Rice Suship of which only 2,000 vessels a year are produced. With a self-developed old rice that is not too sticky, with a profound taste that cannot be enjoyed in any other ports, of which many critics have heavily acclaimed. The interior of the harbor is of high status, making one's heart beat with excitement. As for the sought-after Suship, despite the vinegar concentration, grasping technique, and modeling worthy of a craftsman, there was still something that wasn't quite right, wasn't quite there. Thus, the store owner speaks, a red vinegar made in Edo front that would add a mellow and rich fragrance will be arriving to the port in the upcoming days, and from hearing that, I'm looking forward to this edition. It is unfortunate that the surrounding sea area was somewhat noisy. It is with great expectation of a future visit that I'm grading it with 4 stars. This just sounds like a gigantic Yelp review embedded in the text of a Yu-Gi-Oh card. I love it. I absolutely love it. Let's go ahead and move on. So next up, oh boy, here we go. It looks like it is Row Suship. Can we make it bigger? Oh, I don't think we can. Oh, there we go. Okay, here we go. Okay, can I just say, I love how the row is so colossally large that it actually requires like heavy duty construction cranes to load the row into the Suship. I guess that's fitting considering how large this is, but this is just hysterical. So Row Suship is a fire aqua effect, level 4, 200 attack, 300 defense monster. You can only special summon the way of this card's name's first effect once per turn. That's weird wording. And you can only use this card's name's second effect once per turn. The first effect reads, if you control Rice Suship, you can special summon this card from your hand. Okay, I like where this is going. And the second effect says, during your main phase, you can excavate the top 3 cards of your deck. And if you do, you can add to your hand or special summon 1 excavated Rice Suship, also shuffle the rest back into the deck. So this is hilarious, right? Because obviously you're going to be having the Rice in combination with the Row. So the Row not only can special summon itself out to the field if you have the Rice already on the field, and then the Row can actually search for the Rice if you don't already have it. You can go on the top 3. If there's a Rice Suship, you're able to play it for free. You can also add it to your hand as well. You don't have to special summon it, but why would you not want to have 2 level 4s worth of material, whether it's for a Link summon, an Xyz summon, because obviously we got a little hint that there's an Xyz monster coming up. I just think that's totally fitting. Also, for the purposes of the Rice Suship, there are several ways to get this out. We have plenty of search power for normal type monsters. We have Unexpected Die to immediately get this card out onto the field. We have Painful Decision, I believe is the card. We also have Rescue Rabbit, so you could play Rescue Rabbit to get 2 Rice Suships onto the field. There's a lot of ways just to immediately tutor this card, and so we're going to have to see what direction this goes. But moving on along, this is the card that everyone wants to see. This is Dreadnought Suship Row Class First War Dish. I fucking love Yu-Gi-Oh, dude. I fucking love Yu-Gi-Oh. Let's go ahead and look at this up close. It is a gigantic battleship that is made out of sushi. You can see the row, the turrets, I think, is that soy sauce? I think that's soy sauce. And then you have like cucumber. You have like the little like fake plastic grass that they put to like divide certain. I love this game, dude. I fucking love Yu-Gi-Oh so much. Okay, so this card is a Fire Aqua Xyz effect monster, rank 4, 2200 attack, 300 defense. It requires any 2 level 4 monsters, which means it is generic. You don't have to just play it in this deck. At least I think. We'll have to see what the effect says. So you can only use this card's same first effect once per turn. If this card is Xyz summoned, you can apply these effects based on the monsters used as material. Rice Suship, draw 1 card. Row Suship, this card can make a second attack during each battle phase. So you're telling me that if you make this with Rice Suship, you actually break even on advantage. Because think, if you have the Rice Suship and the Row Suship, you're going to combine those into, first, and also to how on theme is it that you stack them on top of each other because it actually makes the sushi. I love this. I've been saying forever that Hungry Burger needed an archetype that was Xyz based because you can have the lettuce, the tomato, the cheese, the burger, and it would just make sense because Xyz stack on top of each other, but it looks like they're doing it but with sushi. But in any case, so you're taking 2 resources and making 1, so you're actually losing a monster in exchange, but if you make it using Rice Suship, you actually are able to get one of those resources back by drawing a card, so you actually break even overall as long as you use Rice Suship. That's pretty good. And then if that isn't enough, if you use the Row Suship, then you are able to make a second attack during each battle phase. It doesn't say on monsters, so this is a 4400 attack possibly directly to your opponent's face. That's actually a significant amount of damage. Like, let's be honest, that's over half of your opponent's life points. Yeah, it's not like an Axis Code Talker or a Boral Sword Dragon. This is basically like a New Age Gagaga Samurai. That's a little bit more conditional considering you have to specifically use Row Suship, but it also has another effect. So the second effect says, once per turn, when your Suship monster special summon from the extra deck inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can target 1 card they control and destroy it. So what's fascinating about this effect is that this isn't specific to the archetype because it counts itself, which means a rank 4 deck could just play this card in it as a sort of toolbox. And if it comes up that this card would inflict battle damage to your opponent, you also get to pop a card in addition to that. 2200 is sizable. I mean, it's not going to hit over everything, but it's pretty large. But even if this is just hitting directly and then it pops a card your opponent controls, like maybe one of their back row, maybe a field spell, something like that, other rank 4 focused decks can take advantage of that. And I really like this design. I like that you get incentivized to play this in the Suship archetype, but you also don't have to, and you can play this in other rank 4 focused decks as well, adding to the already very large rank 4 toolbox. It also says when your Suship monster specifically is special summoned, and why that's important is because it doesn't specifically have to be the actual Suship that we're talking about here in general. It could just be any Suship, which alludes to the fact that we're going to be getting more of these in the future, and that makes me very excited. So, neat card. It's not like overly busted or anything, but it's really cool. Next up, we have a field spell, Suship Gallery Kaizen. So, again, we got to look at the image here. So, this is like a colossal shipyard, like a dry dock, and look, there's like all of the plastic containers for the sushi. This is hysterical. I don't know what sort of like hallucinogenic drugs they were on when they came up with this archetype, but I am absolutely happy that they did. So in any case, it's a field spell once per turn. If you normal or special summon a Suship monster, even during the damage step, you can place 1 Suship card from your deck on top of your deck. So this is interesting because it synergizes very well with the Row Suship, because what you can do is you can normal summon Row Suship, and then you're able to stack the Rice Suship on top of your deck for the second effect, which then will allow you to immediately either special summon it or add it to your hand. So while the field spell itself doesn't directly add the card to your hand, it enables some setup plays to be able to get to what you're looking for, even if it doesn't inherently generate you that +1 on advantage. The second effect reads once per turn. If your Suship monster special summon from the extra deck is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card, your opponent must pay life points equal to its defense. Then you can special summon 1 Rice Suship from your hand, and if you do, immediately after this effect resolves, Xyz summon one Suship monster using only that monster as material. This is one hell of an effect. So first of all, this is actually, I think, a clause of text we've never really seen before where it says your opponent must pay life points equal to its defense. So we're talking about the rogue class first Wardish here. It only has 300 defense, right? So your opponent's only having to lose 300 life points. But what's happening is that then you're special summoning another Rice Suship and immediately Xyz summoning into another copy of Rogue Class First Wardish, which then triggers this effect, allowing you to draw another card. And this actually does plus you on advantage. So that's really cool. And all that happens is that your opponent has to send this card to the graveyard or any of the other Suships in addition to that. Yes, if it gets banished, if it gets bounced back, then you're not going to get that effect. But it's a way that your opponent's going to have to consider. It's like, depending on what the other Suships do as well, that could be very problematic. I just love this effect because this is basically like the paying life points from the opponent's side is like they're eating the sushi roll. They're paying for the price of the sushi roll, and then the field spell is making another sushi roll for them to just go ahead and destroy again. Destroying as in eating. Get it? I love this. This is so amazing. Please, Konami, keep making cards like this and keep making this archetype good. And it looks like for now, this is the last card in the archetype, which is Suship Rolls Special. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on this one as well. Oh, we can actually get really zoomed in on this one. So this looks like a little menu board with each of the cards. So this I actually think is the specific ship because it says Ikura, which is 300. And I believe if any of you were paying close attention on the ship here, it says Ikura right here and it has 300 defense. So what this tells me is that we still have at a minimum 2 other Suships that are Xyz monsters on the way. One that is 500 defense. This one would be Uni. So I think that's the sea urchin, if my memory serves correctly. And then we have a 250 defense Suship that is Cimoooooooo. I probably butchered the pronunciation of that, but it's, I think, is that ice fish? My Japanese is really rusty, so I apologize if that's wrong. I'm sure you guys will correct me down in the comments for any of you who are sushi fanatics, but I love that this kind of tells a story that there's more of these cards to come. I don't feel like the artwork would look like this unless there was more Suships coming. So let's go ahead and read what the trap actually does. It's a normal trap. When you activate this card, you can also reveal 1 Rice Suship in your hand, okay? Reveal 3 Suship monsters from your deck. Your opponent picks one for you to add to your hand. Also, shuffle the rest back into the deck. If you revealed a Rice Suship when you activated this card, you choose the target instead. Okay, that's really interesting. And then the second effect is if this card is in your graveyard except the turn it was sent there, you can banish this card, then target 3 Suship monsters in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck, then draw 1 card. So what I like about this card is that with this first effect, we've seen this type of effect before, and you can reveal 3 Suships with the same name. So you can actually force your opponent to give you the one you want, assuming you have 3 of the same in your deck. However, if it's a sort of situation where you only have 1 of one and 2 of another, but you want to get one of those specific ones to your hand, as long as you have the Rice Suship in your hand, you're then able to do that. And what's cool is that the Rose Suship can actually add you one of the Rice Suships to your hand instead of special summoning it. So you have a way to actually guarantee you can get the Rice Suship into your hand. Like I said before, we also have Painful Decision and other ways to search this, so it's not impossible, but I like that there's, again, an upside for just being able to ensure that you have the Rice Suship, making this sort of normal monsters matter theme kind of continue all throughout Dawn of Majesty. We talked about it in the Magic Key archetype in the previous video, but this archetype's just far and away way better. The second effect then is this little mini Pot of Avarice sort of effect. Again, we've seen this type of thing before. I just think the worst part about this card is that it's a trap, you know? I mean, it's something that you wish was probably like a quick play spell, but then it might be a little bit too good because then it'd be tutoring way too often. But I actually think there's some decent potential here. What I really like about this archetype is that it doesn't preclude you from playing other archetypes with it. So if there's some sort of way to hybrid the deck with other archetypes, you can do it. I love that the Xyz monster is splashable with other archetypes as well, and you don't have to play the Suships just to play the Suship Xyz monster we discussed in this video. I love that there is an allusion to the fact that there's more Suships coming, and the fact that this is actually just a very decent rank 4 Xyz engine. Like, obviously there are probably better ones that exist, but we don't know what other support cards are coming. coming. And to be fair, this isn't bad. Like, we've talked about just an infinite number of archetypes on this channel in the past, and some of these cards just do so much, but then at the same time, they do so little because they don't really have an impact. This archetype, just at its very core, is a rank 4 spam deck and is able to tutor the entire rank 4 pool, which is incredibly strong. And at the very least, you can use the Suships for link summoning as well to be able to scale up into other bigger monsters. I think depending on the swarm ability of the other cards, like if most of the other Suships are worded similarly to Rose Suship and allow you to just special summon themselves out to the field, and you have this rank 4 spam sort of swarming deck, then I think this could very realistically be like, maybe not like a tier 1 contender, although I absolutely wish it would be, but at least like Rogue at best. We've seen plenty of decks like that before, so it depends on what the other cards do, of course, but maybe I'm just loving the fact that this archetype is so on flavor. However, I just really want this archetype to be not like, it doesn't have to be the best archetype, but I would really love for the archetype to be at least playable, even at like a Rogue level. Imagine if people are playing in tournaments and you're getting absolutely bodied by Sushi ships. Like, what could be more Yu-Gi-Oh than that? But guys, that's gonna wrap it up for the video. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think, and if you guys got hungry as a result of watching this video, I'd really love to hear your thoughts. Thank you all so much for watching the video. Be sure to like the video as always, subscribe to the channel for more amazing Yu-Gi-Oh content, and hopefully to see more Suships coming out in the future. And if you found this video informative, consider supporting me on Patreon for exclusive early one-day access to both the Yu-Gi-Oh progression series and the history of Yu-Gi-Oh. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you next time.